Technovation. Welcome, everyone. I hope that many of you are already familiar with the program. If you're not, we are so excited to share it with you. So here at Technovation, we work really hard. Our mission is to empower girls and families from all around the world to identify problems that are important to their own communities and to develop solutions for those problems using cutting edge technology. And at the same time, we really believe strongly that you're going to be developing a whole lot of other skills like leadership and creative problem solving skills, all of these 21st century skills that are important for both youth and adults. Like we all are learning all the time. All right, so I'm going to stop there. I'm not going to speak anymore. I'm going to let all of the participants and mentors, leaders, tell all about the program. So I want to introduce Nishita Belur from the US. She is going to be our moderator today. And she is also a longtime, this says student ambassador. She's actually a student ambassador lead. She has been helping student ambassadors, and she'll tell you a little bit more about what a student ambassador is and a little bit more about herself.
Hi, everyone. Once again, I'm Nishita. I've been involved with Technovation for around 7 years now, and I started off as kind of a student ambassador, and I've kind of transitioned to becoming more of a student ambassador lead. So I'm very excited to moderate this panel for us today. So does Team Girls Ask want to get started? We can start with Luminita and then go down.
Sure. Hello, my name is Luminita, and I'm a 17 years old student at the high school Tudor Vianu from Romania. This is my first year participating in Technovation, so it's been really fun. I've been a front-end, back-end, and AI developer for Team Girlesque, and we've created an application that should help reduce the harassment and abuse rate from all around the world.
Wow, that's a really timely issue. Alexandra, do you want to keep going?
Hey guys, I'm Alexandra, and I'm part of Team Girlesque Romania. I'm also in the same high school as Luminita and Maria, and this has been the most rewarding experience I've had in the past few years.
Okay, awesome. And then Mihaela?
Hello, I'm Mihaela and I'm 16 years old. We're in the same class, but I'm in the same high school as them. This is also my first year at Technovation, and it sure was a challenge, but it was an amazing experience, which I'd love to repeat again next year.
Awesome. Okay, so Brad, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Brad Huntz. I'm 8 years old. I'm a second-year mentor for Technovation, and I have a 30-year career in the tech industry. I'm now retired, and since then, I've been kind of working on this gender equality and STEM issue. I'm a volunteer with the Girl Scouts, a mentor for First Lego League Robotics, and of course, a great mentor here for Technovation. I love this program and happy to talk about it and excited to talk about it with you today.
Awesome. And then Jorge Nero.
Hello, we are Jorge and Nero from Spain, from Madrid. And this is what has been our first year in Technovation families with our kids, and it has been a incredible experience in family all together doing building an artificial intelligence system. And it was really interesting and enjoyable.
Thank you so much, guys. I think we have Maria.
So I'm Diana. I'm 16 years old. I come from Romania, and I participated in this year's Technovation Girls competition. I am honored to be here.
Awesome. So my first question is for Luminita, and I kind of wanted to ask, what's been your favorite part of Technovation?
Definitely the teamwork. This is my first time participating in such a big project. And although it's been a bit difficult with today's problems with the virus and stuff, we managed to pull this together, and it's been amazing.
Yeah, the fact that, so many teams have managed to pull through during such a precarious time is really a testament. And I also wanted to get Jorge and Nero's perspective on this. What did you guys think that was your favorite part of Technovation?
I think that going to the workshops with the kids was amazing for them and for us, and seeing them in a real class, and also for them the workshop was at the university, so they are small kids that they were going to large classrooms, and they were amazed of that.
My next question is, how did you get started with Technovation? And I think I'd like to ask Brad how he got started with Technovation, because it's always really important to have a mentor perspective on this.
Well, I mentioned in my intro, I've been volunteering with the Girl Scouts, and we're really looking for ways to engage girls that are in middle school and high school. Girls that are kind of younger than that, they really are always interested in anything that's STEM. But it seems like the experience with Girl Scouts anyway has been that the interest drops off rapidly after that. So I researched a number of different challenges, and Technovation came up, fortunately. And I got involved year before last with the junior team, and then this year with the senior team. This has been a really great experience for me.
That's awesome to hear that you got your start in volunteering. I also wanted to get one of the girls' perspective as well. So, Alexandra, how did you get started with Technovation? How did you hear about it and get involved?
Technovation was recommended to us by our IT teacher, Mrs. Carmen Minka. And then my colleagues, my Luminita and Mihaela, were like, let's make a team and see if we're gonna make it. If an app should be a really interesting idea. So that's how we started. At first, I was kind of unsure about my technical skills, if I would be able to learn so much in such little time, but it went great, and it was a great experience. So.
Awesome. Yeah. So a lot of people are mentioning how the pandemic really influenced how they conducted or how they participated in the program. And I wanted to ask Maria, did you feel as though, there were a lot of challenges for you when you were trying to collaborate with everyone? And if so, how did you kind of overcome that?
Well, of course, the pandemic was something that changed our lives. And my team was affected by this. We couldn't meet, and that was our biggest problem because we couldn't interact face to face. So it was harder for us to, let's say, code together or put all the details on the business plan. We managed to create a good virtual environment on Skype, on other platforms, and we created a schedule, and we just followed up that schedule, and everyone was doing their part, and then we were talking about it, and we kind of got through it.
Brad, when you were mentoring this year, did you feel as though there were also challenges in connecting with the girls that you were mentoring?
I think more so for the girls than for me. The girls would meet in person typically, and they just had a regular meeting time that they would all get together, and then I would typically meet with them after their meeting to kind of review what they've done and chart progress. So I was meeting with them virtually most of the time anyway. So in terms of the impact for me, it was minor. I think that the girls adjusted very, very quickly. And I'd say that it was in total very minimal impact this year for us.
Awesome. I have a question for Jorge Nero in the chat. Valentina from Bolivia has a question that she wants to participate in Technovation families, but does the project have to be concerning artificial intelligence?
Yes, I think so, but I think it's really easy to go ahead with the curriculum, with all the material that Technovation provides. And also, if there is a community in your location, then I think it's really, really important because it's something that it could change the experience in this program. Then go ahead because artificial intelligence is not so difficult, not for kids. Our kids were 8 and 4 when we started, and they enjoyed a lot. They did that they could, but they enjoy the program.
Awesome. And then just a small follow-up question. You mentioned the Technovation community. So I wanted to ask, has that community really translated well online when you participated in the program this year?
When we participated this year, it wasn't we didn't online because it was before January. So our program was before the pandemic, so we didn't have to go online.
Awesome. Yeah. So I have a question for Mihaela in that case, kind of the same vein. So did you also experience difficulty with interacting with the community this year, or did you feel as though the Technovation community translated really well when you had to do the program completely online?
The community was always there for us to help if we had any issues and anything. They were there for us. I cannot complain. I can only thank them for helping me because I also had problem with the World Summit and they helped right away.
Glad to hear that. We have another question in the chat. This is from Dawn. And it says, in the panelist experience, what's the optimum size for the teams if they're middle school age? And I think I wanted to ask that question to Brad. So what do you feel as though is the right size for these teams?
I guess I haven't had enough experience to have a really large team. The teams I have had have been 5 girls, and then this year just 3 girls. And I guess I'd have to say I'd prefer the smaller size. It just worked better with the fewer people. But I know that, the Technovation has great support for mentors, including like a Slack channel. And I know that lots of teams are much bigger and they seem to get along just fine. So I think would come down to what you're comfortable working with. And also, of course, to the girls, how well that they interact, with each other as well.
Yeah, makes sense. I wanted to ask Luminita, so kind of for a high school perspective on this. You guys are on a team of 4, so how was that working together for you? Was it something that presented a lot of challenges because it was a slightly bigger team, or was it something that really helped you divide up the work evenly and get everything done?
It helped us divide the work. At the beginning of the project, we expressed our likes and what we didn't like, and so everybody took the part that they were excited about.
Awesome. Sounds good. We have another question for the mentor in the chat. This question is from Rwanda. What do you think we should expect from Technovation in 5 years? And what is your advice to the girls participating?
I don't know if I can speak for Technovation. Maybe Rebecca can go into that after I talk here about where the 5-year plan is. I hope that they keep it very much like this, honestly. I think it's a great program. There's great support for mentors. I mean, it's really like a cookbook guide for you to be a mentor in this program. And I hope to be involved in 5 years, for example, if that's any indication of where I hope like to see it go. I think coming in, if girls are signing up for this on their own, I think that they are already motivated and, looking to learn, looking to be part of the competition, learn about coding, learn about design. If they're in high school or a senior team, learn about the business plan aspects, which are really great things to learn about and know about. If you're forming teams, which is one of the other responsibilities I have through Girl Scouts, where we look to form teams to enter the competition, then I think that there's a challenge with people who are going to be mentors or team formers, coaches, whatever you want to call them, to get girls interested and motivated. But again, Technovation has great material to help you do team formation as well. So you can reach out to them for that.
Right, really taking advantage of that opportunity. That's awesome. And then I kind of wanted to extend that question for Jorge and Nero as well. So what is your advice in general to the families that participate in the Technovation program?
Take the opportunity because it's something that you can do with your family. It's something that can join your family because it's a difficult project that everybody can do together. Then it's something that is from the beginning to the last part. Then
But I think it's better not to concentrate on reaching a strict goal, but enjoying all the stages of the process. And because mainly if you have small children, it's important and you enjoy the small things to do and not to make a very complex project.
The goal is to learn and to teach people who is with you, if you are a mentor or if you are a parent, and this is the goal for most of the team.
That's excellent advice. We have another question in the chat. This is about chapter ambassadors. So I think our chapter ambassador was unable to make it, but I'll ask Rebecca to answer this question. So the question is, if we don't have a chapter around our location, can I start one? Or what can I do?
Not only can you be a chapter ambassador for a big area, you can also be a club ambassador. If you're just getting started and you're going to want to work with, let's say, a group of 5 or 10 families or 5 or 10 groups of girls, I would recommend be a club ambassador. It's a little less to manage right away. Chapter ambassadors work really hard. We have several on here, and I'm sure in the chat they can confirm that. So one of the places that you can learn more about that, I'll put it in the chat or invite one of my colleagues who might be on to do so, is on our Technovation Girls Get Started page. So you can learn a little bit more about the differences there. If there are no chapter ambassadors, no club ambassadors, nothing in your area, and you think there should be, of course you can get started as one. There is an application process that we ask you to go through just to make sure that you're ready for this pretty significant experience. And it's often, we found that chapter ambassadors are very successful when they already are part of an organization that's working towards some of the common goals. So either an organization working toward something with girls leadership, entrepreneurship, or some sort of like a tech organization. These are the organizations that are often very, very successful in having successful chapter ambassadors.
Awesome. Thanks, Rebecca. There's another question in the chat, and I wanted to ask this one to Alexandra. So I think it's Imani is asking, for you to do Technovation, is it a must-know that you have to know how to code?
You don't have to know how to code, because Technovation guides you step by step, little by little. And it may seem daunting at the beginning if you don't have experience in this coding area or technology area in general, but if you learn little by little, you'll see that it's not that hard, and it's actually pretty exciting to see an idea and make it a reality, and it's pretty great.
Did your team know how to code when you guys got started, or was that something that you learned gradually through the curriculum?
Personally, I didn't know how to code before, and I think that most of us didn't know how to code in this specific area, like creating mobile apps, because we learned at high school about computer science in general, algorithm and math used in computer science. But creating mobile apps using specific programming languages, this is different. And we learned that little by little, step by step, and the whole process was extremely exciting, and it was amazing. I mean, it was worth it.
That's awesome. The next question in the chat is, how do you match the mentors with the team? Is there a matching process involved? And I wanted to ask Brad if he could shed a little insight into this, how the mentors kind of get involved with the team.
Yeah, when I first found out about Technovation and signed up through their website, I was matched through the website. In fact, I guess I was really matched this year as well, where you register as a mentor and then girls can reach out to mentors and associate with them. So Technovation has the materials to do that matching for you.
Awesome. All right, so the next question is from Crystal, and Crystal asks, what is the key to making a good working app? And I probably want to ask that question again to Luminita. What do you guys believe is the key to making a good working app?
Well, first of all, you have to be sure that the application would really be supported by the public. For example, we had several app ideas, and we did a survey to see in our location in Romania. We did this survey to see how many people would use each and every one of those applications. And after a few days, we decided to watch the whole process. We saw how many people liked our idea with the Views application, and we chose to work with that one.
All right. So basically canvassing the community and kind of figuring out if the problem is something to solve. That's awesome. That's a great answer. And I wanted to ask that question to Jorge and Nera as well. So what do you guys believe was the key to making a successful project in Technovation families?
Well, in Technovation families, because all the participants are very different levels, and also the members of the group are adults and also children, and also young persons. It's the key to a good project is to do something that everybody can understand, not only one member or not only the elder member. So it must be a project simple and easy to understand for each of the members.
Right, accessibility. Yes, that's also a super great answer. The next question in the chat is, what are the requirements for transiting from club ambassador to chapter ambassador? And I'll ask Rebecca that question.
Sure, that's a great question. I think that depends on how many people you're serving. If you decide that, for example, this year I'm going to reach, let's say, 30 teams, or want to support 100 teams of girls or something like that, then of course, we would invite you to become a chapter ambassador. You just need to reach out, talk to your Technovation point of contact. I will point out that one thing that we haven't talked too much about here in this panel is that this year, Technovation families, we will not be running a competition because of the pandemic. We're putting that on pause so that we can make sure that we're supporting all of our slightly larger Technovation girls population to be able to have more time and then be able to submit in the spring. So again, Technovation families, anybody is invited at any point in time to become a leader there and lead that in your community, but there will not be an actual competition this year for Technovation families, only for Technovation girls for the following season.
Thanks, Rebecca. Elena from Uzbekistan provided some great insight in the chat about a previous question about how in Uzbekistan they also do some events where teams can meet mentors and get to know each other. So that's another way in which mentors can be matched to their teams. Awesome. Okay, so the next question is, someone is a mentor, but they feel like they cannot help people in certain domains, for example, coding or creating an application, and they wanted to ask how they can manage in this case. So I wanted to ask Brad about this question, but there's also kind of another part. I wanted to ask how your background really came into use as a mentor.
Okay. Well, first of all, you can have more than one mentor. And, I found this year that the kind of the production of your video is such an important aspect of the competition that I really encourage the girls to reach out to other folks that could better support them than my lousy ability in that area. But, for a senior team, I was a really good fit just by personal experience because I had experience with a startup company and I knew a lot about business planning and target marketing. And so this year was a really great experience for me with senior teams to be able to share both my experience on the business side as well as the coding side. But again, I think the most important thing is you can have more than one mentor. A team can reach out to multiple mentors, and certainly mentors can help by, reaching out to other people and involving them as well, and just for specific parts of the competition.
And I wanted to ask Alexandra, so your guys' mentor, what was his background and how did that kind of help you this year when you participated in Technovation Girls?
So our mentor, Andrei, was a student in the same high school, and he has been studying computer science for 4 years because he was a senior, and he has been involved before with Technovation, and he had a lot of insight about coding because he's very passionate about coding, and he taught us a lot about them. He also taught us how to search for problems, how to organize things, also in the business area. And I think that it was pretty great, especially he isn't working in the industry, he's just a student. But I think he did a great job as a mentor.
Awesome. And we have another question for the team from Romania in the chat. And Kareem asks, what motivates you the most to continue working during the pandemic? And how did you distribute work between members based on previous knowledge or what you'd like to work on? So I want to ask this question to Maria. I think we've elaborated a little bit on how you guys split up the work, but mostly wanted to ask, what motivated you to really finish this project this year?
Most important thing that motivated me and my teammates, our ambition to win and to develop something that can help our community, because this problem is worldwide. I mean, the issue we were talking about is not just in Romania, it's everywhere. And of course, during the pandemic was harder to work. But we were motivated by the satisfaction that you get when you finish something. For example, you take one screen and you bring it to something on your phone. And that is amazing. I mean, when you see that you can press that button and it works, I think that you just get more ambitious and want to continue. And I don't know, it's the whole experience. It's not just something or other things. It's the atmosphere, the team, the mentor. The mentor was really important. I mean, Andrew, if you're here, hello. And he was so passionate about technology that he could transmit those things, and the information was with emotion combined, and we liked what we do.
Awesome. Thank you, Maria. There's another question in the chat. This is from Shalin, asking about giving them a view onto how the Technovation World Summit was like in past years, not like these times of pandemic where no large gatherings are allowed. So actually, I can answer that question. I've been to World Pitch quite a few times because I'm pretty conveniently located in the Bay Area. But World Pitch has always been the best experience. I remember going there, there were always these student ambassador groups, and we got to meet people from all over the world and share all these experiences. And especially seeing the finalist teams pitch, that was definitely one of the most inspiring moments that I've probably ever been a part of, to see how change can be created all over the world, and how, how these people really persevered through all their obstacles in the season to come to where they are now. But yeah, World Pitch has always been an awesome experience. It is online this year, of course, but I think that it's pretty well simulated, and, props to Technovation for having run it so well. Awesome.
And Nishita, you touched upon this briefly, I think, but I would love for you to talk a little bit more about leadership opportunities after students participate in Technovation, like what you've been doing. Like, you've really taken it, the next steps, I think.
Yeah, of course. So I participated in Technovation in middle school and then my freshman year mostly. And then I kind of transitioned to being a student ambassador. And how that went was interested alumni who are really, passionate about Technovation and they want to recruit more girls to join the program can actually, there's this application at the end of the season that they can submit to be considered to be a student ambassador. And if you do get that position, it's something that's a big responsibility, definitely, but it's also something that's really inspiring and really fulfilling, because you go and you get to recruit girls for the program, you help out in workshops, you teach them how to code, you teach them about like parts of the business plan, things like that. You go through the brainstorming process together. And then I think it's all about dedication and kind of keeping up that work so that you can, the more dedication, the more hard work you can put in, the larger you kind of have a role in how these things play out, and the more you can contribute into making these programs better, which I think is a really cool process, that there is that structure of leadership that you can go up and get more involved in if you're really interested in that. So I wanted to ask another question, and I think we touched on this a little bit when we were talking about mentors. And a lot of people said, their mentors helped them. The team from Romania said that their mentors helped them with coding, and I know Brad said he really used his expertise to help with things like the business plan, especially his marketing background and things like that. And I wanted to ask Brad another question. So Technovation is really unique in that it doesn't just emphasize the coding portion of this. You have the business plan, the pitch, all these things. So in your own words, I wanted to ask, why is this really valuable?
Well, maybe I should talk a little bit, because we did talk before about the coding. The coding is certainly, I would say, a minor part. There's the design process and thinking through the target market and figuring out how you're going to communicate your project and surveying, and then again, as a senior, where you want to do a business plan and do revenue projections and top side, and there's just a lot of things to this. And the coding should not be something that's scary for people who are considering, joining as girls or mentors. There's great tools that are easy to use and, will help you implement that. And the girls learn so much, through this experience on so many different aspects of, ideation, certainly some of the coding, but thinking about problems, addressing problem solving, and how your problem from the perspective of somebody else in your target market is addressed. It's just a great experience for the girls to learn at a variety of different levels.
Awesome. You mentioned brainstorming as a really key portion of the process. I wanted to ask Jorge and Nera, how did that brainstorming process kind of go for you? How did you come to what you wanted to address?
Okay, it was really funny because you have a lot of kids and a lot of parents, but it's a really heterogeneous people. Then you can have different kind of ideas because kids think really different and thinks about the problems in a different manner. And then the brainstorming is a really important part, and it's something that we enjoy a lot in that program.
Awesome. And then, Luminita, I wanted to ask you, how did you guys come up with the problem that you guys were going to address? How did you kind of narrow it down to Girls Ask?
To be honest, I don't really remember exactly how we ended up deciding on this one, but I remember the whole process. We were in this cafe and we were just saying issues that we know or something that bothers us. And we made this list, and day by day we just threw some of the ideas to the garbage. And so we ended up having 2 or 3 ideas that I told you about with the survey. We asked the people around us what they think about those ideas.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds like an extensive brainstorming session. And I think one of the last questions in the chat is, and I'll ask this to Rebecca, was someone asked, how are you going to support this girls after this August session to continue working on their projects?
Okay, so I am betting that person is participating in our idea lab. So right now we're running a pilot, so we're learning a lot right now. It's a quick 5-week program that we're doing in collaboration with UNESCO. And it's taking place in 6 different countries right now. So if you are a part of that, we encourage you are a girl between the age of 10 and 18. We encourage you to go ahead and sign up for Technovation Girls, or check out the curriculum on Technovation Families, where you'll be able to complete your AI invention to solve the problem you identified. This year, we are going to be offering a little bit more AI support if girls choose to use machine learning in their apps that they are coding in Technovation Girls. So if you do want to do something with machine learning, with AI, in Technovation Girls, there will be a little bit more support this year, and hopefully even more support the following year. So there's 2 different paths you can take, and we encourage you to keep working on solving the problem that you identified, and to create a team if you don't already have one that you can rely on to work with you. And I think that, Nishita, if you don't mind, I'm going to take it over just to close. I think we're about 2 minutes from the end of our time. So I just wanted to really thank everyone for coming. I wanted to thank all of our amazing panelists. Thank you so much. If any of you have any further questions, you can always reach out to us. My email is my first name, Rebecca@technovation.org, or you can visit our website, the Get Started. And again, thank you so much all for coming. It's been wonderful to hear all your questions and all of your amazing advice, panelists. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.